Hello learners, welcome back to the course on Learning and Development in Organization. In the first session, I tried to introduce you to the topic of learning and development, underscoring the importance of what learning and development has in an organization specifically and what does it actually mean. Today we'll try to extend that introduction and we'll try to learn more deeply what learning and development signifies to an organization. I'm Dr. Cyril Issac. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Today's entire discussion will revolve around the theme, the best investment an organization can make is in the development of the people. Please mark my words, if you are at the helm of any organization, if you are at the hierarchy, the top of that, at any point, be sure that the best investment an organization can make is in the development of its human resource. So this would be the underlying theme today. We'll look into the role of learning and development in today's business landscape in a more detailed fashion. L&D, learning and development, is crucial for organizational success in adapting to changes, adapting to technology, adapting to whatever is coming across your way in terms of maybe changes in economy, changes in polity, changes in with respect to the business landscape altogether. So what is the typical significance in today's landscape, business landscape particularly, is underscored by the approach towards organizational success. Now this approach is vital when you are looking into learning and development specifically. No longer it is confined to the traditional training methods. L&D now plays a strategic role in enhancing employee capabilities, improving the organizational performance and ensuring long-term sustainability. So organizations that prioritize, continuous learning specifically, they see or they tend to outperform their competitors, benefiting from increased employee engagement, higher retention rates and stronger business outcomes, etc. So when you look into the different studies, we understand the research has categorically given us the outcome that companies with well-structured L&D initiatives experience greater innovation, greater efficiency and a strong leadership pipeline. So let's take an example. Global technology firms that regularly train employees on AI-driven automation or cybersecurity trends are better positioned to navigate the industry changes, if you ask me. So these organizations not only equip their workforce with cutting-edge skills, but also maintain a competitive market or competitive edge in the typical business landscape. So this particular session, today's discussion will focus on the practical implementation of L&D, specifically exploring typically what are the key strategies that enable organizations to design, to execute and to measure the effective learning programs. So when you are talking about the first aspect, designing an effective L&D strategy specifically, you will see that this is the starting point. A well-structured L&D strategy is nothing but a systematic approach to developing a workforce that can adapt, innovate and drive business successes beyond just the training program. So organizations are typically investing in L&D, foster an environment typically where employees continuously develop the skills needed to reciprocate or respond to industry changes and emerging challenges specifically. So when you are looking into a successful L&D strategy, please make note of the fact that it ensures employees acquire relevant skills that align with business goals. It looks into learning that is continuous and not limited to one-time training sessions altogether, and there is a direct impact on organizational performance and growth. So by embedding learning and development into the company's culture, if you ask me, businesses can foster higher engagement, they can have better retention and stronger leadership pipelines, as I just mentioned. Now when you are looking into aligning L&D with business goals, this is very critical because for learning and development to be effective, it must have close ties to the organization's core business objectives. Now, training initiatives should directly contribute to strategic goals. It might be a goal like increasing efficiency or sometimes improving on the customer experience or fostering the innovation part in an organization or driving the revenue growth altogether. So, whatever be the objective, the training initiative should typically directly contribute to the cause. Now, when you are looking into L&D, it is or it has to be aligned with business needs. Then an organization can ensure typical fact that employees develop the right competencies to drive success. They prioritize skill development in areas critical to the company's growth and even measure the effectiveness of training programs through let's say performance improvements, etc. So, for example, if I am taking an example of a retail organization or retail company that is, let's say, struggling with customer retention. So, the issue may stem from poor customer service experience. So, by implementing an advanced customer service training program, the company can enhance employee interactions with customers, leading to improved satisfaction and brand loyalty. Now, when you look into the alignment which we are talking about, there are some key considerations that we have to look into. First one being identify the core business objectives. What are the company's strategic goal for, let's say, next 3 to 5 years? Or how does the workforce capability impact the goals? So, these are the typical questions that need to be answered when you are identifying the core business objectives. Another significant aspect that could be mapping business objectives to employee skills. So, what competencies are essential for business success, or are employees equipped with the skills, or do exist there a gap in these competencies, or let's say the skill part? That is the second possible consideration for L&D alignment. When you are looking into the L&D alignment, the third possible consideration would be to develop target training programs. So, dedicated tailor-made training programs. How can L&D initiatives be structured to bridge these skill gaps? The answer to that would be the training program specifically. What training methods are best suited to achieve these desired outcomes? Again, target training programs would be the answer. Now, another significant consideration would be to ensure measurable impact. When you are talking about measurable, as I categorically underscored in my previous session, anything which cannot be measured cannot be improved. So, what key performance indicators, KPIs? So, this is a terminology which we will be using time and again. What key performance indicators will measure the effectiveness of L&D, and let's say how will success be tracked over time? So, these are some of the critical aspects, some of the key considerations for L&D alignment. Now, when you are looking into aligning L&D with business goals, organizations should continuously assess their L&D strategy by asking these 3 simple questions. What skills, what competencies are essential for business growth? What are the gaps in the current workforce, and how can L&D, learning and development, bridge these gaps effectively? So, this is the starting point which actually leads most of the organizations to a measurable outcome in terms of learning and development. The second important factor that today we'll discuss is identifying employee learning needs. So, this need analysis is very critical for learning and development. If you ask me, all the programs related to L&D to be effective, they must be tailored to the specific skill gaps and needs of employees. So, a structured approach to identifying learning needs ensures that training initiatives are targeted, they are relevant, and they are impactful. So, without proper assessment, organizations actually risk investing in training programs that do not align specifically with the actual workforce challenges or to a certain extent the business objectives. So, when you look into organizations that successfully identify employee learning needs, they can actually prioritize the skill development, they can ensure that employees remain competitive in terms of evolving business and environment, and also avoid skill redundancy by focusing on future oriented competencies. Now, when you are looking into employee learning needs, what are the different methods for identifying learning needs? One would be the skill gap analysis. Now, this is most important. I'm just introducing you to this topic. We'll go in detail in the coming modules. A skill gap analysis typically, if you ask me, compares employees' current skills and his or her competencies to those required for their roles and future career progression. So, the typical method aids organizations identifying critical areas for improvement and develop the training programs that addresses the specific deficiencies. So, there can be possible different steps which could be identifying the essential skills, assessing the employee's current skill levels and comparing the existing skills with the desired skills set to pinpoint gaps, and finally develop the targeted training to bridge the identified gaps. Let's look into an example. A company transitioning to AI-driven HR technology must actually train the HR professionals on digital tools, on something like predictive analytics and automation software. We have detailed that in our AI in HRM course typically. So, without this training, employees may struggle to leverage the full potential of AI, leading to inefficiencies or missed opportunities, etc. Second most important aspect would be performance reviews and the employee survey. So, managers and employees play a vital role in identifying skill gaps through structured feedback mechanisms. It could be like managers evaluate employees' strengths, their weakness, what are the areas for development, or even performance data that helps track recurring skill deficiencies across the team. So, employee surveys and self-assessments can be done which provide first-hand insights into their own learning needs. An example could be, let's say, a company conducting quarterly performance review notices that several employees struggle with data-driven decision making. So, what can be done based on this insight? An interactive data analytics training program can be scheduled to enhance the problem solving skills across department. The third important aspect would be industrial trends and future readiness, which will help in monitoring the market trends, technological advancements and competitor strategies, and identify skills that will be in demand, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, and train employees accordingly. So, these are certain parameters with which you can actually look into the development of training. Example typically would be that a financial service company recognizes that blockchain is important, blockchain technology is important, transforming the way financial transactions are conducted. So, similar training can be scheduled. Now, choosing the right learning approach is vital. When you are looking into the training, it should be engaging, it should be relevant, it should be accessible based on factors like workforce structure, the budget of the organizations and the goals specifically. So, a blended learning approach combines various methods to maximize the knowledge retention part. Let's look into how we are going to choose the right learning approach. The training type, the first one could be instructor-led training. When you are looking into instructor-led training, ILT is the traditional classroom-based face-to-face training I am talking about. And what is best for? It's best for highly technical skills. Compliance training, they all need ILT. Second aspect would be e-learning. It's more of digital courses while learning. All the LMS, learning management systems can actually employ that. Large dispersed workforce, what we are doing right now. Across nation, across different continents, people learn, dispersed workforce, self-paced learning, all are the typical benefits of that. Another important aspect is blended learning. What is blended learning? It's a mix of ILT and e-learning for a flexible approach. So, employees with diverse training needs can definitely make use of that. OJT, on-the-job training, is another important aspect. We'll discuss all of this in detail. I'm just introducing you to these terminologies. Employees learn while performing actual job tasks. So, hands-on learning could be there, role-based skill development could be there. Coaching and mentoring, one-on-one guidance from experienced professionals. So, leadership, development, career progression would be what it will be most suited for. Now, the key consideration for when we choose a learning approach typically is the workforce structure. Are employees working remotely? Are they working on site or in hybrid mode? Answer those questions will get the workforce structure. Do employees require self-paced learning or structured classroom? We'll get the workforce structure. You look into the budget constraints, you ask the question, Instructor-led training can be costly. E-learning is more scalable. Can we go for that? So on-the-job training reduces training expenses but requires mentorship availability. So what can be the best suited arrangement? Skill complexity is all about technical skills that may require a combination of theory, which could be done by e-learning, or a hands-on practice by OJT. Leadership development is the best delivered technique that could be delivered through coaching and mentoring. And finally, the business objectives can be analyzed. If rapid upskilling is required, you have to go for the blended learning approach. Now, measuring the impact of learning and development, we have to ensure that L&D programs are critical, are effective. Organizations must measure their success actually to ensure that, and that is done by KPIs, key performance indicators. So key performance indicators generally look into how well employees engage with training, whether they retain and apply their learning specifically that they have got in the training, and the impact of training on the business outcome, which is the most important result of the training. So the following are the KPIs that help organizations to keep track of this. Very quickly, you look into these aspects. Completion rates, you look into that tracks the employees' participation in training programs. So almost 80% of the employees complete a cybersecurity training. You have a glimpse of that. Knowledge retention is all about assessing whether employees retain what they learn. So pre and post training assessment show some 30% of the improvement. Employee productivity could be links training program directly to performance improvements. Or employee engagement, on the other hand, can be which measures something like motivation, satisfaction, training effectiveness, coaching and mentoring, one-on-one guidance from experienced professionals, etc. So when you are looking into these KPIs for L&D success, when are these KPIs important, or why these KPIs typically matter? It's all about the completion rates. If employees do not complete the training programs, the organizations must investigate whether the content is engaging, whether it is relevant or easily accessible. Let's say another significant factor could be knowledge retention. Employees must remember and apply these knowledge that they have gained from training. So organization can use quizzes, simulations, or post-training projects, etc. Employee productivity could be a measure where the training should improve the employee efficiency and output. So if the performance does not improve, training methods or content may need some adjustments. Now, employee engagement is all about engaged employees that are more likely to apply what they learn and contribute positively to the organization. And finally, you have to look into the most significant factor, ROI, return on investment. So L&D programs must show financial and operational benefits. Example, let's say an AI-driven customer support training program reduces response time by 30%, improving the customer retention and revenue. So there is some particular return on investment. So if you ask me, typically in this particular session, we try to underscore the importance of measurement, importance of understanding how we can actually measure learning and development. We'll go more deeply into the KPIs specifically, but before that, please note the best investment an organization can do is in terms of the learning and development with respect to their individuals. So when you are looking into how effective these training programs are, please note it is not only about ROI, return on investment is certainly an important factor, but whether the knowledge that is acquired, the knowledge that is gained, is it disseminated, is it spread across the organization in a more equitable fashion. That is the answer to all your questions when you're looking into learning and development. Thanks for listening to me patiently. We'll see with more details of learning and development in the next class. Till then, bye-bye.